What's up, trucking fan? Thank you for tuning into the channel. I appreciate all of your guys' support. I wanted to do a quick video about how to put the math down on paper. I've been putting the math down on paper for a long time. When I went to 5 trucks, 10 trucks, 20 trucks, and basically this video is going to be about how to make $1 million a year, okay, with a trucking company. What it's really going to take, what it's really going to entail by my calculations. I haven't done it yet. I hope you guys will follow me through the journey, and I hope that I can get there. I know that it's attainable. I know that it's reachable, and I know that it can be done. I have several friends that have built $150 million roofing companies. I've met several millionaires throughout my life that have inspired me. I've actually been to their homes. I've shook hands with these people. I know people who have built industrial complexes. I know several real estate guys who are moguls in real estate. I mean, built housing developments, housing divisions, pilots that have private planes, private jets, so many different things. I've actually met these people and been fortunate enough to learn from them. And they've been very generous with their time and teaching me and talking to me, from people that have, cars, the whole nine, right? So I want to just do a quick video on what it would take, what it would actually look like on paper, what my calculations are. Could be 100% wrong because I haven't done it yet. I know a couple of guys that have gotten to like 50 trucks in 3 or 4 or 5 years, but nobody that's done this type of numbers yet. So it may be conservative, maybe completely BS, but here we go. All right. So my calculations to get to $1 million drawn out in your pocket profit at the end of the year for a 1 year's worth of work, you would need to have 80 trucks. Okay. Okay. Out of that 80 trucks, we're going to say that the average truck generates about $200,000, okay, of revenue per year. Okay. All right. Now, how would you do that if Progressive won't let you? If a lot of these companies won't let you, right? I know a few friends that are moving in that direction, and they maybe had to do it between a couple companies. So maybe if the fleet Progressive side will let you go to 20 trucks, do it between 4 companies, 3 companies, 2 companies, however you can set it up. But let's just hypothetically say that you did it between 4 companies. All right. And that's, 20 trucks per company, 4 different MCs, however you set it up, however you're able to make it work. And the revenue is at $16 million. So $16 million is what you need to do. All right. To generate this kind of money and to break down the numbers that we're going to do, right? So at $16 million, $200K per truck average, we're going to just, for rounding purposes, say 20% is what you're going to get from these trucks, right? So let's just say we're at 20%, okay, out of the $16 million. And as, again, it's hypothetically with company trucks, it might be a little bit higher margins. With your owner operators, if you have a mix in the middle, it's going to, let's just say hypothetically that it's 20%, right? Out of that 20%, you're going to net $3.2 million, okay? For that $3.2 million, okay, what is it going to take to do this? What is it going to take? What kind of team in place? What kind of things are you going to have to set up and put in place to get this done, all right? So my calculations basically going to need about 8 dispatchers, 2 in-house safety managers, and at least 2 paper pushers. You're probably going to need a few more people, but this is just a conservative estimate. So 8 dispatchers. If you're saying that basically what their roles would be, the 8 dispatchers at 80 trucks, each guy could do 10 trucks. Conservative. That's about where my guys would be comfortable. That's where I would be comfortable. You're kind of bogged down, but if you had some good contracts, some dedicated stuff to move it around, you could comfortably do it with 8, maybe a little bit less, but let's just say they're all in-house at 8, and roughly we're going to round it and say they're making about $100,000 a year a piece. You could probably get it done a little bit cheaper, but let's just say that that's what it's getting done just for rounding purposes to get it to $1 million. Okay. So we've got 80 trucks, 200K revenue a piece. We've basically got 4 companies, 3 companies, however you want to set it up. We're going to say 4. $16 million revenue is what that company's going to do, or companies, okay, to get you $3.2 million net out of that. Now, we have to back out our salaries, payroll, other things out of this 3.2, taxes, things like that before we can draw our profit, right? So we have 3.2 million, and we're going to say that $800,000 is for dispatch, right? So 800K, just to basically say that these guys are going to move the trucks, handle the driver relations, rate confirmations, logistics, complete logistics in-house, 8 people. You got to have a whole setup, computers, communications, the whole 9. Let's just say $800,000. We're rounding it, right? With taxes to their salaries, things like that, you can pay them 70, Plus you got to pay tax, all that different thing on them. So you got to match their, Social Security, different benefits. If you didn't know about that, go look that up. If you have an employee, you have to match their benefits, things like that, offer benefit packages at certain levels of companies. So let's just say $800,000 to dispatch team, okay? That leaves you with basically $2.4 million, okay? So I'm going to break down over here. We've got $2.4 million left over after dispatch, right? And we've got 12 people. Some of these people, I'm going to basically say there's, $60,000 a piece, hypothetically. That's going to give you somewhere around $720,000 in salary for them. So that'd be paper pushers, people who are going to be doing all of your, intake, whether it be new drivers coming on, adding information to the TMS software, things like that. So, credit checks, things like that are going to need to be done. Managing P&Ls, just different activities in the business so that you can manage it well. You can make sure things are going where they need to go. Things are getting paid, things like that. And then you may have, yourself doing payroll or somebody, significant other, whatever. For us, it'd be me and my wife doing things like that. But we have another conservative estimate of around $720,000 for those people to do those job types, okay? After the 720 of the 12 people, that leaves you with about 1.68, okay? All right, so that's, for those of you who don't know what it'd be to come here, it'd be $1,680,000, right? So $1,680,000 is what's left over. Sorry, I'm in the way, guys. That basically, I'm rounding $200,000 off for BS. Claims, things that might happen, breakdowns that you weren't expecting. Maybe you want to save a little bit of money, some tax liability, training, investment, moving forward, growing your company, things like that. I rounded 200 off of that, okay? So that leaves you with a pretty conservative estimate of about 1.48 million, right? I think I was saying 1.48, okay? So that's 1.48 million, all right? Now, out of that 1.48 million, you're going to have to pay tax, okay? So I just Googled this, guys. There was no number on 1.48, but I did on a million, and it was 365,000 is the average what companies pay that make $1 million in profit. So you pay 365,000 roughly. So on 1.4, I kind of just rounded the 4.8 off, or the 480,000 hypothetically in taxes, which would basically leave you with $1 million, okay, after tax. Now, let's do a recap quick. I wanted to make this video under 10 minutes. 80 trucks, $200K in revenue per truck, okay? They can be owner-operators, company trucks, power-only units, flatbed, reefer, driving, however the hell you want to set it up, it doesn't matter. Between 4 companies, if you had to do it that way, 20 trucks per company, which it is possible, guys. $16 million in revenue, okay? This last number that I'm going to do kind of blew my mind a little bit because it was pretty close to the national average if you Google it. $3.2 million is what got pulled out at 20%, okay, of the $16 million. And again, these are just hypothetical numbers, guys, but I think it's a fairly accurate representation of what it would look like. If any of you guys have 80 to 100 trucks and you think this is bullshit and you think I'm crazy, please call me. I'd love to chat about it because I would love to learn and pick your brain. But basically, it would break down to a point that you would have $800K in dispatch, another $720 for the 12, okay, people to run, paper pushers, the back end office, things like that. So your 2.4 million after the 800K of dispatch, after 720 and 12 people, brings you to 1.68 million. We rounded for, $200,000 for BS, damages, claims, anything that may occur, lawyer fees, whatever you may have happen. 200K is a lot of money, guys. So investment purposes, just saving purposes, whatever, it would give you 1.48 million. Tax, okay? So we're minusing basically that 480 in tax, completely wiping it off for taxes, okay? So we're cutting this off, calling that hypothetical tax. And if you guys that are tax accountants say that this is bullshit as well, please hit me up and let me know. I'd love to know if maybe there's a higher tax. I've never made $1 million in 1 year. So if there's higher tax or if it's less tax or if I can get away from paying 480, I'd love to. I'd love to make 1.1 or 1.2, so let me know. But that basically leaves you with $1 million, okay? Now, the percentage, the last number I'm going to leave you with, we're at 10 minutes, I wanted to get out of here, is the percentage, okay, is roughly 6.25% of $16 million is what $1 million breaks out to. It's 6.25% of what you're going to make. So basically, me and my dad always joked around because I've had a few other companies and we've done, $1 million and I've netted about 100 grand. Okay, that's kind of where we're at now. And I have a lot of liability, a lot of responsibility, but I'm able to replace my salary and not have to drive the truck, but I have to manage a lot of other things, as well as I have other companies, car dealerships, real estate ventures, things like that. But basically, I always thought that to make $1 million profit in your pocket, you had to do about 10, 12 million, okay? After, you got to pay tax and things like that. Because I figured it was about 10%, right? But if you Google the national average of what most trucking companies net, and I don't know how the hell they get their information from, Google does, but it says that they net somewhere around 7 to 13%. And they would all be based on how their company is structured, how they have asset-based, owner-operator-based, from Landstar to JB Hunt. They're 50-50, whatever, but they're all different. So, it roughly is in that 7 to 13%. So if I'm saying 6.25% from 16 million to make $1 million after tax, after liabilities, after everything that goes into it, that's a lot of work. It don't seem like it, guys, but we're in the $1 million bracket. I know that to do, that basically be 3, 4, 5 times what we're doing now to get to $16 million is a hell of a lot of work. You'd have to have a good team around you. So that's where this 12 people is going to come into place, because you got to have dispatch. You have to have safety. You have to have paper pushers. You have to have people doing credit checks. And they really, at this level, in my opinion, would need to be in-house. You need to be able to have an office. You need to have a yard where these trucks can come to. You need to kind of organize that structure where it's real tight, where you can come in at 8 o'clock every morning or 7. Always be earlier than the guys that you have coming in or gals, and make sure that they're there, they're doing their job. And you have to have backups. The safety guys need to be writing safety plans. They need to be dealing with these guys every day. They need to be maybe doing some of the intake when the new guys come on, as far as, drug tests and their PSPs, things like that. So everybody would have full-time, basically 8 to 5 responsibilities. Other than, some of the guys, dispatchers and different things, would need to be a little bit more than 8 to 5. That's why they're going to make $100,000 a year salaries or close to it, because it's a very difficult job and it's time consuming. So that's basically what it takes, guys. I appreciate you for tuning in. Leave me a comment. If you think this video is fairly accurate, if you think it's BS, leave me a comment. Let me know. I would love to have your input. I think that this is a fair representation of what it's really going to take. So I'm shooting for 16 million. Any of you guys that want to follow me, let's do it. To make $1 million a year. You do that for 10 years, you make 10 million. You take some of this million, you put it into real estate, you put it into other ventures, and get that passive and residual income coming in. Because at any given time, guys, trucking has so much liability in it, to the point that you could go to prison. If you make a mistake and they find you negligent and a driver kills somebody, they do an investigation, you could go to prison owning a trucking company. So there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of liability. So take it seriously, and getting to that point, things are going to happen. You're going to have lawsuits. You think companies that have $16 million in revenue don't have lawsuits or have things happen or have claims or have accidents or fender benders, or, you're going to go through it. So if the difference between the $16 million revenue and pulling $1 million out of that $16 million could be a one claim thing. It could put you out of business. It could rob that $1 million from your pocket and you end up broke and nothing. And you did it all for nothing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of liability. It's a lot of responsibility. I think it can be done. I know it can be done because there's people doing it right now. I can think of several companies that have 250 trucks, 150 trucks. So they've got to be at 24, 30 million, somewhere in there. And they're probably pulling out $2, $3, $4 million a year at the 6% range. But that's what I think, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, share. Tell your friends. If this is your spot for everything trucking, I'll catch you on the next one, guys.